There was a woman named Hannah. Her story is one of love, faith, and miracles, and it begins long before she became the mother of the great prophet Samuel. Let's embark on a captivating journey through her life, where we'll witness her extraordinary faith and the heavenly and earthly wonders that followed. Hannah lived in a small village with her husband, Elkanah. Elkanah had another wife named Peninnah who had many children. Peninnah often teased and mocked Hannah because she couldn't have children, which made Hannah very sad. Every year, Elkanah would take his family to the temple in Shiloh to offer sacrifices to God. During one of these trips, Hannah's sadness became too much to bear. One evening, as the family celebrated the feast, Hannah slipped away to the temple. She fell to her knees and prayed silently, tears streaming down her face. "Dear God," she whispered, "if you give me a son, I promise to dedicate him to you for all his life. He will serve you faithfully." As Hannah prayed, Eli, the high priest, noticed her. He saw her lips moving but heard no sound and thought she was drunk. "How long will you keep on getting drunk? Get rid of your wine," Eli scolded her. Hannah quickly explained, "I am not drunk, sir. I am deeply troubled and have been pouring out my soul to the Lord. I have not been drinking wine or beer. I was praying out of great anguish and grief." Eli's expression softened. "Go in peace, and may the God of Israel grant what you have asked of him." Hannah left the temple with a light heart, believing that God had heard her prayer. Months passed, and to Hannah's immense joy, she discovered she was expecting a baby. She gave birth to a beautiful boy and named him Samuel, which means asked of God. Hannah's heart was filled with gratitude. She remembered her promise to God and knew what she had to do. When Samuel was old enough, Hannah and Elkanah took him to the temple in Shiloh. There, she found Eli and said, "I am the woman who stood here beside you praying to the Lord. I prayed for this child, and the Lord has granted me what I asked of him, so now I give him to the Lord. For his whole life he will be dedicated to the Lord." Eli welcomed Samuel, and the boy grew up in the temple, learning to serve God under Eli's guidance. As Samuel grew, he became known for his kindness and wisdom. One night, something extraordinary happened. As he slept in the temple, Samuel heard a voice calling his name. "Samuel, Samuel!" He woke up and ran to Eli, thinking the old priest had called him. "Here I am. You called me," Samuel said, but Eli shook his head. "I did not call. Go back and lie down." This happened 3 times. Finally, Eli realized it was God calling the boy. He told Samuel, "Go and lie down, and if he calls you again, say, 'Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening.'" Samuel did as he was told, and when God called again, he responded, "Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening." From that moment, God spoke to Samuel often, sharing his plans and messages for Israel. As Samuel grew older, his reputation as a prophet spread throughout Israel. He led the people with wisdom and justice. One day the Israelites faced a great threat from their enemies, the Philistines. The people were scared and didn't know what to do, so they turned to Samuel for help. Samuel gathered the Israelites and prayed to God for victory. He then led them into battle, and with God's help, they defeated the Philistines, securing peace for Israel. The people were amazed and grateful, knowing that God was with Samuel. But there was more to Samuel's story than anyone knew. Hannah, his mother, had always been special. Years passed, and Israel demanded a king. God instructed Samuel to anoint Saul as the first king of Israel. Samuel obeyed, pouring oil over Saul's head and proclaiming him king. But Saul's reign was troubled, and he disobeyed God's commands. God then sent Samuel to anoint a new king, a young shepherd named David. Samuel found David tending sheep and knew he was the one chosen by God. He anointed David, and from that day on, God's Spirit was with him. David grew up to become a great king, leading Israel with a heart devoted to God. Through all these events, Samuel's role as a prophet and kingmaker was crucial, fulfilling the destiny that Hannah had foreseen. As Hannah grew older, she reflected on her life and the extraordinary path it had taken. Hannah smiled, her heart full of peace. She knew that her life, marked by faith and miracles, was a testament to God's power and love. Epilogue: The legacy of faith. Hannah's story lived on, passed down from generation to generation. Parents told their children about the woman who prayed so fervently that God gave her a son who changed the world. They spoke of her unwavering faith, her dedication, and the miraculous events that followed. And so, Hannah's legacy continued, a beacon of hope and inspiration. Her life reminded everyone that even in the face of sorrow and hardship, faith and prayer could lead to the most extraordinary and unexpected blessings. In the end, Hannah's story is a timeless tale of hope, faith, and the incredible power of a mother's love and dedication. It teaches us that no matter how difficult our circumstances may be, we can always turn to God, who listens, cares, and performs miracles in ways we could never imagine.